I wanted to mention first right off is we're not going to be doing Tuesdays all the time because Tuesdays are hard. We only scheduled Tuesdays this first couple of weeks because that's the way that this program gets started, kind of like in turbo mode for the first couple of weeks. But going forward, we're just going to be Thursdays. And in the middle of summer, when we have like a 4th of July weekend or something, we may adjust a little bit. But just know that if you have to miss, we'll record it and we'll try to get it on dates that everybody can be there because the summer is just kind of hard. So we'll do our best to make it work. But for at least a while, this is our last Tuesday, and we'll just be doing Thursdays. So today, we really actually got to get into some of the activities, but let's talk about the CRM. That is a huge job to have between Thursday and Tuesday. So I am still working on doing some requalifying and adding some people to my database. How did you guys do on your activities this week?
I went in and I rated my people. Wait, can you hear me? I feel like I'm echoing. Yeah, I rated my people. I took a few people out that I just were in there, and I haven't talked to them in so many years, and I just didn't think I was going to reach out to them. So I probably took like 2 or 3 people out. But I rated the rest, and I actually had done this before. I think I was maybe having some beers when I did it because I didn't remember doing it. I'm just joking. But but no, but I had started rating people beforehand, before this even started. And then I told you, I think we've had a personal conversation. I couldn't really figure out how to use it because I didn't have access to everything. So I went back and I re-rated everybody. I changed a few people, and that's mostly what I did. But I had already put all my people in there previously, so I didn't have to do that step. I already moved it over from the vault because I had a lot of people in the vault. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. How about you, Joanne? Were you using this before the Buffini, or is this your first with the CRM, right?
Yeah, this is my first time. So I exported everyone out of my top producer and went through the list one by one because I had like 300 names. And I just put the ones that, I really just focused on my A plus A's and B's. I did put some C's in there. And then I figured out, because I have some leads I'm working on too. So I did figure out how to go in and kind of categorize them.
Like a group.
Yeah. And so then I was getting ready to do the mailing, and realized that I have to go in and tweak it because the spouse didn't always show up with, and I want it to be dear Randy and blah, blah, blah. So I'm tweaking that and hoping today I can get that first mailing sent out.
That is a lot of work. And it's hard too, because different databases are different. And I still have some people in my database that have the first name, one spouse name, and the last name is N such and such. So it's a lot of work to get that all consistent. It really is. And I think working on your database is kind of always an activity we always do. Hi, Olivia. We're talking about the CRM.
Sorry, I'm late. I'm going to be joining video in like 2 minutes, but
you're good. You're good. Okay. No worries. No worries. So I'm still working on those things too. I've got a lot of work to do in my database, and I got some really good ideas out of today. How about you, David? Have you had a chance to get in there and work in the CRM at all?
Yes, I've been working on my database. I've gotten a few more names dialed in. I'm trying to get my emails for these people that I've added recently. So I've been doing the back and forth between Been Verified and them. So hopefully I can get them ready for my next drip email. So that's what I'm working on, because that 15th's coming up. So
it comes up so fast.
Yes,
it sure does. It sure does. And so and Olivia, have you had a chance to get in and work in the CRM at all?
I haven't. I mean, I have it. I've looked at it, but I haven't started going through my contacts yet. I mean, I did that a couple months ago, but I'm definitely going to go back through probably this afternoon.
Well, I think this is what I think about your CRM. It is more than a list, as we know. It is a contact or, a client relationship manager. And so it's not something that you're just ever done. That's the thing, you kind of always have to go in and tweak it. And when you have conversations with people, you put your notes in. We constantly are reminding ourselves. I can tell you yesterday, I set up 3 different client meetings, you know, a couple of dinners and some get-togethers, because now that we and a lot of our clients are fully vaccinated, we're getting back together again. And so, and some of them are still outdoors and stuff, but we're setting up the appointments. And I can tell you, how many of those 3 appointments did I do through Referral Maker? None. So I have to go back in and always remind myself. And it works really well if you go into the app and you make the call from the app, or you text from the app, because then it tracks it. But it's a habit. So I do believe that working on your clients and your relationships is ongoing forever and ever and ever. So, and that is why we can't listen to how to set up the CRM on Thursday and be done by Tuesday. That's just not going to happen. So, but we're further along, and he's got a good CRM. I think that as it continues to grow and does add in some different types of artificial intelligence and predictive analytics, I think we'll see that robust feature come in as he grows too. So that's pretty cool. So today we actually are going to cover both modules 5 and 6, and then Thursday we'll do 7, and then next week we just have Thursday. So that makes it fine. We're front loading. But staying in touch, and you know, this was really, we talked about what is client care, and so that, you know, it kind of all comes together when you look at how he works, how their system works with the mail, and then a call. It gives you a reason to call and make a warm call, the email and a reason to make a warm call, and then what, you know, just the face-to-face with the Popeyes is probably the most effective thing for getting new appointments that we found of all. And of course the notes. So talking about benefits of a monthly mailing. So a lot of people, and I want to bring this up because I know that there's especially in some of the emerging generations into the real estate business, there's a tendency to go away from snail mail and monthly mailing. And statistically, that was effective for a while, but NAR does studies too, and they have found that the people that stay in touch with the snail mail, in addition to staying in touch on social networks and through email, they're having the 1 in 10 versus the 1 in 50 conversion. So snail mail still works to keep you in front of people. And it is true that people forget about us every 16 days. So if that's why we have to be consistent, because we have to remind them, here's who we are, here's who we are. They're seeing it here, and they're seeing it here, and they're seeing it here. So they have to see it in the social network. They have to see it in their mailbox so that they have something physically to hold, because some people don't internalize unless they physically touch something. Like some people just can't read a book online, and they thought all the bookstores were going to go out of business, but it turns out that the online bookstores are doing great, and some of the bookstores that are bricks and mortar have gone away, but some of them have also really grown. So a lot of people still love books. So that's why we have to touch a lot of different styles. So the social, the snail mail, and then the additional email monthly value item, and then the calls. The calls are most important, and they're the hardest to do. So that's one of the best benefits of having the email and the snail mail, because then you have something to call about, right? Like it's hard to call and just say, hey, how you doing? You know, it just doesn't feel right. They know it's not sincere. And so it's really great when you have the opportunity to send something, to call about something that is relevant. So I'm a member in Buffini, and I have my monthly mail out no matter what. So your guys' first one coming up is, let me see, I'm trying to see what it's called here. Is it credit score or remodeling, or?
It's the remodeling.
The remodeling. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's an awesome one. We had a lot of thank yous on that one when we sent that one out. And a lot of times you can go into your resource center, and if you see things that you think are very relevant to any one person, they will be available for you to download and either email or print out from there too. So a lot of.
I was gonna ask you, Heidi, since we did these Remax announcement mailings, and I really did hit my CMR with this a lot. Do I need to send this letter as well, or doesn't that seem a bit redundant? Like, should I just make something new that's kind of polite and kind, and then add this remodel note with it instead of sending that letter?
I have found that he is very intentional about the wording in his cover letters. And so I do
Okay.
send the cover letter with every item of value, but I will go in and tweak it now and then a little bit. Like, you know, and include, I think I included a family photo at the beginning of the year, just so you can do like little tweaks, but I wouldn't eliminate it unless you've put that content somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, so the cover letter with the mail out, I think it's important, but you can tweak it. And then we've been doing it instead of the trifold. And you can actually have Buffini do it if you want to, but we don't go through the expense of that. But we do pay an assistant to do it. But instead of a trifold, we do it in a larger envelope, just as a one.
Half full.
Yeah, and then in the envelope, and then we put in, like this month, we're adding to it some little sticky notes.
Oh, yeah.
So and last month we added a co-branding piece from Aaron, the mortgage guy. Just we added that for just an extra value for them for refi rates and stuff like that. And
Okay.
Kathy, let me show you this. Kathy Burke, she didn't even brand her mail outs as a member, and she's been doing this for so many years until we just did the advanced Buffini, and now she's doing it, and you can co-brand with somebody out of your database. And look, she's got a McDonald's franchise owner there.
Oh, that's a great
And so
idea.
at bottom, you can go in and when you remember, and you can brand those. So just think of that going forward, because you can team up with your people, and you could actually charge them if you didn't want to do it as a value and help pay for your mail out.
Sure.
We haven't done that. We've just done it as a value added, but you sure could do a co-branding with somebody and share the expense. Okay, so let's go back to the reason that we do all of these things, though, is the consistency. And as you'll see as you go through Buffini courses, whether it is 100 days or it's the beginning pathway to mastery or advanced pathway to mastery, that is really all the same. These activities never change, just the amount that you do. And he constantly reminds us we have to concentrate on the activities that create stability, and then the rest comes. And so that never changes. We just change maybe the amount that we do as our business grows, but it's just the same stuff. So the snail mail on the 15th, the e-reports and the calls, and then we have the social touch that is so important and it's great if you can attract people, because like Olivia does an incredible podcast, which is a great marketing and branding item. Also, if you are spending time on social media and thinking about what you're going to post on your own page isn't nearly as important, and our millennials I know can speak to this, as going in and commenting on other people's pages. So you don't have to worry as much about what you're posting, although Remax International has some great content to share. And there's great content when you have like people like Olivia's blog, podcast and things like that you can share. But yeah, really basically just want to go in and see what other people are doing and commenting on theirs. And they say that when you like somebody's post, it's like giving them a hug. And when you comment, it's like giving them a kiss. And so you're just out there kissing people, you know. But the really cool thing that I found, and one of the other Buffini people gave me this idea, is if you can't think of a great reason to write a note, you can find it out there on Facebook. A lot of times people have things that you can write to them about. So I'll give you an example. I saw that one of our clients had a new puppy. And so I wrote her a personal note how cute her little puppy was. And I got a text back saying, oh, I got your note. Yeah, I want you to meet him. His name is Henry. Then I send out a pre-pop by personal note to the people I'm going to be popping by in the next week or so, just letting them know I'm coming. It's been one way of sending out the notes. And so actually, I've had a couple people say, oh, that's really great, but let's go ahead and set up an appointment and she's one of them. She said, I want you to meet Henry. And so it's those types of things I saw online and it's developed into an actual appointment. So that's really good use for it. And you want people to see you as the market expert. And so that's your marketing message, really great stuff to share over at RE/MAX International. And they do almost daily little cute blogs, like the 5 things that make your house a happier place to live in, stuff like that. And those things are for people that don't have the creativity and the ability to set up a podcast like Olivia does. And so that's just resources that you go out there to find. And so the mailings, one of the things that I think is really important is your stickers. So I don't have them in front of me, but one of the things I noticed that Kathy does, and I've got one of her notes, because Kathy Burke is one of the best note writers I've ever met. She's just so good at articulating what she wants to say. So I'm going to show you. I usually have some of her examples sitting around here. Yeah, indeed. So she does stuff like this. So she puts it inside like that, which is pretty cool. And then her things. It's always a treat to hang out with you, even if it's online. I miss seeing you and can't wait until we can do so in person. It's a good life. She always has really cool stuff. She does. Kathy's a good one. I'm going to have her come and talk to you guys a little bit later on. You probably know her, Joanne. She's up north. Yeah. Well, she was down in the Denver area, and I tried forever to recruit her, and she came to RE/MAX after she moved to Fort Collins. So she's my awesome friend. And Ray showed some property for her like a week or so ago down here.
I didn't know her last name. I just knew Kathy.
She said you did awesome, and she was so appreciative. So anyway, she's a great resource for Buffini too. And so you just have to look at those little things, but what a difference they make, right? Has anybody used the mayor campaign on anybody yet? Yeah, David, how did it go?
All right, I did it on an attorney at the bus for my second shot and got his card and had a little storytelling and gave him my card. So we'll see if anything comes of it. I'll be driving up to Wellington if anything does, but hey, those are decent sized properties and sales are sales. So, hey.
There is a restaurant up in Wellington that
We have an office there too, I saw.
yes, we have an office up there, and there is a restaurant up there that has the best buffalo mac and cheese I've ever had in my life, and it's totally worth going off your diet for. Do you know what I'm talking about, Joanne, up there? Oh, Terry took me there. It was amazing. So,
I've heard
anyway.
about it, but I haven't been there.
Well, I'm gonna find that place again one of these days if I ever get mac and cheese again. Hi, Olivia. Good to see you.
Running.
Good morning.
Oh, wait, hold on.
And so, have you had an opportunity, any of you guys, to do some of your personal notes yet? Because that's coming up as this week's activity. Yeah,
Starting to work on some.
that's
Not
one of the
since-
things I noticed that he said is that was the #1 thing for results, personal notes.
I haven't-
sending out a personal note this week to all my past clients with a packet of seeds to just plant flowers. So that's on my to-do list.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Hang on 1 second here. Michael is so loud, he's getting recorded. Being recorded. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you have 2 people on 2 different Zoom meetings in the same room. So I am going to introduce you guys. I know that a couple of you got notice this morning, Ray and Olivia were made aware. There is a Buffini mastermind group that meets. It's Tuesday once a month. And Denise Guidro, she runs that. And they always talk about some really interesting things that are They talk about the market, they talk about their activities, what's working, what's not. It's a great opportunity. So I'm going to invite her to be a guest and come on and see if you guys have the time. We won't be doing Tuesdays anymore, so you might want to jump on and see how that 9 o'clock once a month goes. And I'm going to be on there too, because it always sounds like fun, and I hear so many of our friends when I'm on there. So let's go back to our module though. And right now I'm really looking at module 6. So we talked about the mail outs. I'm talking more about the caring right now. Did you guys notice some of these sample personal notes that are in here? I tagged this page because I thought there were some really good, it's kind of hard to figure your verbiage out all the time, but I really liked the thanks for the great service. What a great note just to send to anybody that you maybe were helped at a restaurant or you know, just wherever you could use this. Thanks so much for the excellent service. It's obvious that you love what you do. I mean, what a great note. And there were some really good ideas too. And as I go through this, you know, my biggest challenge is making sure that we have enough people in our database to support the business that we to support our business goals. And that's our weakest link. We need to add about 50 people. And every time I go through this, I think of some more. So good one, David, with the attorney there. And like I'm taking my parents to multiple doctor's appointments every week. So I'm going to start, you know, adding those people and talking with them and sending them the personal note. So let me get your thoughts on this, all of you. So let's say you meet somebody like this. At what point do you start putting them in your database and sending them items of value and those things? So do you think just putting them in there, or maybe a personal note, and then how do you think that should go?
I like to wait till I have rapport before I start really bugging them, if I can build rapport. Otherwise, I do a very soft touch.
So what you just said is interesting though, because everything that we're talking about is adding client care, but you termed it bugging them.
Yeah, well,
That's a mindset,
because
right?
I'm a Colorado native, and most of my folks that I know are Colorado natives, and with everything that has happened here in Colorado with growth and people moving here and everybody, you know, being here for 5 minutes and talking about things that have, you know, real meaning to the people from here, you know, they don't really like to be bugged. No offense, you know, like.
Okay, but let's not call it bugging anymore.
All right.
Let's call it adding value. Because
Adding value.
So let's just say you send that remodel out to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some good remodel ideas. You know, remodeling is so popular right now because people really aren't moving that much. That the handyman and the remodelers are booked out for weeks and weeks and months. So it's really hard
Sure.
for them to find contractors. So what if you sent that out and you contacted your people and you just said, hey, these are the ones you know that own their home. And you said, I just wanted to follow up with the remodel idea. You know, it's really popular. People are doing so much and it's hard to find contractors. So if you're ever looking for somebody, consider me a resource. I'd be happy to help you with a referral if you need that. And then it's great to talk with you. Have a great day. And I'm always available. I'm never too far away. So, right. So really it's a mindset. So we have to look at these things as providing value, because if it's not, it's an annoyance, right? We don't want to bug people ever. We don't ever want to bug people. And so that's one of the things that I have found, but I've been doing this for a few years now with the Buffini, and I have had many people say, hey, thank you for the different things that you sent. Some of this stuff is really valuable. And I didn't have, you know, it's all really valuable, but some of it's really valuable. And every now and then I'll get a comment back. Oh, thanks for that. Or, you know, that was good information. So, and then, you know, some of them are going to see it and they'll open it and toss it in the trash. But you know what they saw? They saw our name. So we reminded them every 16 days, we have to remind them we're their real estate resource, right? So caring for them though, the personal notes are incredible. And I can tell you that people do not get rid of their personal notes. I have one from a client right here. just a client that wrote, thank you for all of the awesome deliveries. That's a personal note for the pop buys. But nobody ever throws away a personal note without reading it. You just don't. They just mean too much to you. And the more time and effort you put into your notes, the better the outcome. So he did say that has been one of the best return on time. And the other one is the pop buys, because pop buys is when you're making appointments, and that is really important. So a couple of months we popped by Audrey and Joe, who we've had in our database for years. They have 2 different properties we've helped them with. And when we popped by a couple of months ago, they said, oh yeah, by the way, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to sell that rental as soon as the tenant's lease is up. And so that property hits the market next week. And we learned about that on a pop by. So there's a whole lot of things, other people that we've popped by, people that we have wanted to get to know better, like in my mom and dad's database, and that hasn't been as effective because we haven't done as many phone calls. So that's something you can't avoid, unfortunately. So if you ever go into my office, and you'll see that I have all on top of my shelf, there are frogs, and they represent clients. You have to kiss a lot of frogs to get the client. And the other thing is you have to eat the frog every day. And that is the phone call. It's eating the frog. And so nobody really loves the phone calls. And so if you are a person that is kind of likes to get to the point, that's kind of like me. I'm a fast-paced person. You never want to call more than one super talkative person in a day, or you'll just get stuck on the phone and it'll drive you crazy. So when you're looking at, and like he says, call your favorite people, but call the people that you can just check in with. That is the most effective thing, is the phone call. So on our action items, have you guys done pop buys yet? Okay, so
Yes.
David, I know that you have a success story from a pop buy.
Oh yeah, I did a pop by on Aaron and Jamie's house, and they called me back and signed 2 listing contracts with me. They want me to help them sell their house in Erie, and then also help them buy land and do this module idea, which we're slowly working out the details. But I also went by this weekend to give them a sympathy visit, because one of their children's mother from a different family, it's a blended family, passed away. So
Oh.
yeah.
And how did you know about that?
Through a Facebook post, but I thought that's not the personal touch I wanted to make. So I bought flowers and went by and said hi and made a donation to their GoFundMe through a check to them instead of online. So.
See, that's so cool. In those Facebook posts, you really do know what's going on in somebody's life. It's not about what we say, it's about what they say, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you show your sincere intent. And then the good news is that mom and dad were there as well, and they're thinking about buying a house in Boulder because they're living in Lafayette and Indian Peaks, and they're thinking about trying to shoe up into Boulder for their final home. So we'll see if they get some business out of that even. So I know I impressed mom by being there. So. And
so that original pop by, when you went over to their house, what was it that you brought them to Aaron?
It was just a box of Rocco chocolates, with my card for Christmas for the holidays, nice. Saying hi, thinking of you guys, that kind of thing. So
I mean, we got the $2 or $3 bottle of windshield wiper fluid, had so many positive comments. That was a good one.
No, and this month
I'm having super fun. In fact, I'm really having so much fun. I have to go back to the store and get some more pansies, because I've given them all out. We had the little pansies, and our little saying was, I'm so excited about the real estate market, I wet my plants. And that one is fun. And then the other one that we have that also goes with the pansies is, when it comes to real estate negotiations, you don't want your agent to be a pansy. So a couple of just fun things, and people like them, but they do remember those fun things. And we have fun with that. And it's also fun when you make a mistake. We've popped by the wrong house before. This time when we were sending our pre-pop by cards, we accidentally mixed up a couple of names. And so both of them are like, hey, how's Tiffany? So we're like, well, at least we didn't say you are our favorite client. So never do that.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, they said it was fun and we ended up popping by over there and having a laugh about it. So there's something I noticed in this Buffini course. This is the brand new 100 days, but this wasn't in the last one, and it's video. So have you guys done video in your business yet? I know that Olivia does. She's on top of all this cutting edge stuff, but have you guys tried it?
No, I hate to see myself on video, so I don't even.
Same here. I'm not a fan.
Well, I've heard a lot about it. This is the first time it's been in a class, but I think that it makes a huge difference. And you don't have to go out and spend a ton of money on BombBomb. You can just do it with your phone and text somebody a video. And so I did it all the time as a manager. I did it to the agents. I'd send them video on, on their anniversaries and congrats for closings and different things like that. And so many times I would get a thank you video back. And so now that I'm looking and really focusing on clients, I said to Michael this morning, I said, because we're talking about this, and whenever we're doing a class, we're always kind of doing it together. And I'm like, so when's the last time you sent a video? And he's like, oh, never. It's like, so here's something that we need to incorporate. So 70% of communication is nonverbal. Have you ever had an email or a text be misinterpreted?
All the
I sure
time.
have. And depersonality, it's usually like I sound short or something, or mad in a text sometimes.
I've gotten texts where I legitimately think that somebody's angry at me, and then I call them like, no, that's not what I meant at all. I was like, well, why'd you capitalize those letters then?
Right.
Yeah.
So they can be misinterpreted. Yeah, Joanne.
Well, I guess I'm not clear on how to use video the best. So when we were in lockdown last spring, I did try to do a couple videos to some of my clients saying, hey, I hope you guys are hanging in there. And I got zero response. And I'm like, maybe it was just really not genuine, or I looked ridiculous trying, because I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. So do you just send a message via text, a video via text? Is that?
That's what I've done. Just like, to an agent, like, hey, I just wanted to get in touch with you today and just let you know I'm thinking about you. Have a happy birthday, and celebrate all week. Can't wait to hear about it next time we talk. Bye. Something like that. And then send. So it has to be short. Notice he said, like, if you have an 8 or 9 minute video, they'll be like, oh my God. And they're not gonna open it. But I think we are our own worst critics. And probably the reason that you didn't get a response is just because they didn't respond, not because you did anything wrong at all. No, people want to do business with who they know, like, and trust. And that's the wonderful thing about video. It creates more of that relationship. It has to be short, definitely short. And I haven't seen anybody that doesn't edit do a perfect video. But I wanted to ask, and this was something that I thought that maybe Olivia, you might be able to give us some information. What is a good video editor software, or what is good to use for just like a beginner?
Well, Ray can probably really help with this, but I use all different ones. I use InShot, I use iMovie. They're all just apps. So you just upload your videos. There's probably going to be a little bit of a learning curve for people if you're not used to being in editing software, but I taught myself, I don't know, how to do it pretty quickly. And then you just have to get in there and like practice it. And I think there are tutorials. I mean, just Google like editing apps for if you have an Android or an iPhone. There's tutorials and YouTube. I don't watch any of that because I'm impatient and I just want to figure it out. So I just do it myself. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of apps. There's free apps that you can use. Ray, do any come to mind for you?
No, actually, I agree with what you're saying because I do my editing is a little. I use more professional editing stuff. But on your phone, if you're just doing a quick video on your phone, I think you've got it perfectly. I mean, iMovie. If you have an iPhone, iMovie's already on there. It's really easy to edit. It's not. It doesn't take much skill at all. You can probably figure it out on your own or just Google it. But it's pretty simple and it's already in your phone when you buy it. It's already there.
Okay, Ray, so you come from a professional videography background. Do you think people can do videos with their phone and edit them with like iMovie and stuff? And
That's all I do.
100%.
Really?
And I've had this conversation with Olivia. I've told her how phenomenal I think her videos are.
yeah,
And it's not just your videos, by the way, it's your enthusiasm. This is, if you haven't watched any of Olivia's videos, watch it. She just comes in with like a little teaser and then your enthusiasm is infectious. And
she's real.
that's why, yeah, you're real. Exactly. You're not faking it at all. You're a natural on camera. I know I say this a lot. I'm really, I don't want anything out of it. I really believe it. But she told me that she just sort of winged it and learned it on her own. And so, I knew before that these editing programs are not, you don't need to be a professional. You just have to, it's more about what you say and who you are in those videos. I think you just said it right on the nose, Heidi. You're absolutely truthful. And I think that's what it comes down to.
When Heidi convinced me to send a video follow-up a few months ago to people I met at an open house. And, I overthought it and I was like, recorded like 10 like minute long videos. And this was after I'd already done like 1 million videos on my Instagram, but I was actually sending it to someone. So I deleted all of them and I just like took my dog for a walk and I recorded while I was walking for just like 30 seconds. And I got a response right away. I got a phone call from that person. I think it just has to be, you don't want it to be like too set up and formal. I mean, you literally just want to hold your phone in front of your face like you're having a conversation with them.
Did you text it to them?
Yep. Yeah, I just recorded and then recorded a video and texted it. And I have sent some where I haven't gotten a response. So that's not only happening to you. And I'm like, whatever. And I follow up again.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like where Buffini said, to be present with people. That really does put you right there. Because, it's all about them. That's really great. That's great feedback because it's scary to go out and most people that I ever talk with hate to see themselves on video. And so every little bit that we do, the practice and review before sending, but not to be too canned. I think that's so important, not to be too canned. Yeah.
You get over that pretty quickly. The more you record yourself and put it out there, honestly, you get over it.
I remember
maybe video's not for you ultimately, but if you just give yourself like, okay, I'm going to record once a week, just like a 30-second snippet to put up somewhere, it does get easier to where it's like second nature.
Nice.
So do you do like a video snippet on maybe a home buying tip and then post it on your social media?
Yeah, I do videos on anything. I'll do like neighborhood tours. I'll do state of the markets. I did a feature on like the condo market downtown a couple weeks ago. I do like a walkthrough of a house. I tend to do a lot more like data and research. Like I need to do more like fluff pieces, like easy things, but I feel like every realtor does those and I don't want to be like every realtor. So I kind of make it more difficult for myself, but you can do anything you want. I mean, people want to see that. It's stuff that like, I'm like, everyone knows that. And so I don't want to record that, but that's stuff that people want to see.
Okay.
The competency part.
Yeah.
So you guys, you really have to explore those limiting beliefs and see if they're legit, huh?
Yeah. I was just going to add to Olivia, or somebody mentioned you don't like yourself on camera or whatever. It just takes a minute. I mean, maybe you hear your voice and you're like, that's not what I sound like in your head, but you get used to it. I remember the first time I ever recorded myself, and I'll be honest with you, I was probably like a kid, and I was like, oh, that's my voice. That sounds weird, And I'm talking like audio recording because they have video cameras available. back in those days, I'm pretty old. But you'll just get used to it. And maybe you don't like the way you look on camera. Just get over it. That's the way you look. Maybe you want to put like a nice shirt on, but regardless of how you judge yourselves, a lot of us have these issues. That's just how we look. And that's how other people are going to see you anyway. So you'll just, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it.
Yeah, like Buffini says, he's like, I got news for you. That's what you look like.
That's the scary part. I like to live in denial.
Well, I practice. That's right, man. And it's nice to hear from a couple of you that are really practiced at it and that it gets easier. And so so for Thursday this week, we're going to be talking about the community and getting together with people. So I think that as we're more into the year and more people are comfortable, we're finding more and more people are comfortable with getting together. So that's what we're going to talk about next week, is getting together for networking and business lunches and different things like that we can do that aren't just on Zoom anymore. It's nice to see people.
It is.
Totally. So for big action items for this week, though, I think, we're going to continue working on our database. And I've got a whole page full of personal notes that I'm going to do that I just thought of going through this module. So, and then getting the pop-bys done. So do you guys have pop-bys to take out? So I know a lot of you do. So we'll hopefully get some really good stories that we can tell next week from our pop-bys this week and next week. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you Thursday.
All right.
Thanks,
Have a great
Bye,
week. Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.